Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings, with me, Gretta Chamberlain, Yvonne Kraeher, Leigh Stima, and the Realm of Beings. Shifting Impressions, which is one of the vehicles that supports the transmission of the Realm of Beings, is here to assist you in delving into your being by providing numerous topics and discussions for you to intake as you deepen your connection with your inner world. Shifting Impressions is here to assist you in strengthening yourself as you excavate to understand your true nature. Leigh, Yvonne, and myself, with the Realm of Beings, eagerly invite you to join us today and learn to shift your mindset, shift your thoughts, and shift your focus to recreate your life and produce a new you. Shifting Impressions starts now.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to Shifting Impressions. I'm Leigh. I'm here with Yvonne and Gretta, but today we have a special podcast for you because for this day, we are celebrating. And today we are Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Being and Friends, because we will be celebrating creating this podcast for 1 year. Technically, we have more than 52 episodes in our file, so we're a little over the 1 year mark technically, but we won't mention that. And we are just here to share with you this journey and meet with friends and discuss, creation of reality. So welcome everyone today. Welcome everyone joining us. We are very happy to be on Transformation Talk Radio every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. Pacific. So let's get this party started. Yvonne?
Hey, thanks, Leigh. Thank you for that great introduction. And just want to say a couple words. I am so grateful to be here. And I'm also very, very grateful to be on Transformation Talk Radio every Friday. It has been a wonderful journey for me personally. And with every step along the way, I feel more blessed and confident that our work together, our time together is making a difference in people's lives and helping them also the way we have personally shifted our impressions and our reality out of the shadows. I feel like the purpose of this podcast is to help others and to be a light in the world to do that. And just quickly, briefly, because we have so much in store for you today, just a little bit about how we got together. Both Leigh and I have worked with Gretta over the years, and about a little over a year ago, last July, not this past, but previous one, Gretta said to me, "Oh, how would you like to do a podcast?" And I was like, never thought about it, but I was open, and that's how I want to stay open to all possibilities. So I said yes, and then she approached Leigh because Leigh had been talking, Gretta and Leigh had been talking about doing a podcast together for a couple of years. And so synchronistically, Transformation Talk Radio just sort of fell in place. And so here we are a year later with, we are calling it our Happy Creation Day, but I also like to call it Happy Celebration Day. And one of the intentions that I kind of came up with for today and have been working with for the last couple of weeks is I am my heart's expression of infinite love and joyful creativity. So here we are together creating love and joy. And that's kind of been our message over the last year through the work that we're doing together. And so, again, I don't want to spend too much time on that because we have so many people that we'd like to include in this celebration today. But I would like to give thanks to a few people, particularly Dr. Pat. Dr. Pat Basili. I hope I said your name properly, but Dr. Pat is quite a ball of energy. And if I would think of 3 words to describe her, I would say kind, loving, and supportive. She definitely has a very intense bio, which I'm going to read because there's so much in here, but she's the CEO of Unlimited Possibilities Now Incorporated and the brand owner of Transformation Network Live streaming TV and broadcast company. She is the international award-winning co-host of Transformation Talk Radio, To Thrive By and Power Up. And she has been reaching millions of people in 165 countries around the world. She's a TV commenter, author, researcher, founder of Street Smart Spirituality. In 2007, she renamed the venue of her alternate programming to the new mainstream in media. She has been an advocate for bringing powerful voices to the airwaves. And in 2023, the Transformation Network will be home of all things positive. She can tell you a little bit more about her work and her goal, but she coaches, she works with the LGBTQ plus community to create diverse dialogues and encourages wealth, prosperity, and she's a channel, and she is one of the best people I've ever met, and her passion is ping pong, if you don't already know that. And she feels like, just again, a big ball of energy. So thank you, Dr. Pat. I would also like to thank Linda Firing, who is the executive producer of our show. Jacob, of course, who we've mentioned a few times, but he is always here in the background helping us look how we look on screen and keeping us on time. And also Jessica, who is the Vice President of Marketing and Program Director, Kim Hunt, who is the Senior Executive Producer and Graphic Designer of at Transformation Talk Radio. And we don't know these people, but thank you to all the staff members who've helped and supported us on this journey. And of course, to our listeners, thank you for being here and for listening, and for, just using the information that we have and the tools that we provided to help change your life. So I am going to pass the torch over to Gretta. And we'll let Greta take it from there.
Hi, thank you. I want to thank the 3 people that are very instrumental in keeping this podcast going. I want to thank Yvonne, who really said to me, I don't know, and then changed her mind. So that was great. Thank you so much for being, with this program. And Leigh, who is just, phenomenal in her own right, and keeping us on track when we get off and on other topics. I want to thank you for coming along. We planned this for 4 years before we actually did it. And Leigh was right there with me during this whole time. I also want to thank someone that you never see on this program, and that's Deborah Ann Del Sardo, because she was the one that connected me to Dr. Pat. And that would be another story. It would take up the whole program to explain how that happened. But Deb has been with me for about 4 or 5 years, and so have the other people that you're going to meet today. And anytime I need to say, Deb, what do you think about this idea? I run it past her first. So thank you, Deb, for being there. Now I'm going to turn it over to Leigh to introduce some people that I love. I love you all too, but I love these people.
We love these people too. Joining us today in our special Friends Collective is Thomas Ippolito, transformational specialist and entrepreneur. Kathleen Lee, also transformational specialist and educator. Lori Snyder, clinical social worker. Carlos Williams, he too is a transformational specialist and physical therapist. You might be asking yourself, what is a transformational therapist? You know, can you tell me more about that? And of course we can. Transformational specialists come from all walks of life. Their purpose is to assist individuals in creating realities that are wanted experiences instead of remaining focused on unwanted realities. That's basically what we try to get through every week with our quotations, right? You do create your reality. In order to do this, their training concentrates mainly in 3 areas: science, psychology, and existence. Also, part of their training is to learn to do all of the work remotely without any physical boundaries. Consequently, they learn to activate their psychic abilities, which drives their work. Each one of them is in a constant state of transcendence, which assists them in dealing with large amounts of energy. If this has piqued your interest and you are interested in learning more about the transformational specialist or working with the transformational specialist, please feel free to contact Gretta directly, and her email is Gretta with 2 T's, Chamberlain, CHAMBRLAIN @gmail.com. Thank you. Today, we will be going back to our normal format where we will be discussing the quotations as we normally do. Pardon me just one moment. I'm sorry about my hesitation.
That's okay, Leigh, because we've got someone that I don't want us to miss, and she's a call-in. Is she there, Jacob?
Yes, she is. We do have her with her.
Hey, Inga.
Hi, ladies. Hi, Greta.
Hi, Inga. Thank you so much for calling in today.
Sure. I'm really happy to congratulate all you ladies and the entire team on your anniversary. I think it's a powerful thing that everyone is doing. I just have a couple of, things to touch on in the short time that I have with you ladies. I want to start with a quote that was put forth: to focus on oneness and bathe in the joys of infinity. I'm going to be completely honest. I had to look up some of the words again just to remind myself what they meant. And it all brought me back to like unity of thought and joy from an internal and inward place versus like something that's temporary and fleeting, which brought me back to peace. So I just want you to know, Greta and Leah and Yvonne, like how much I appreciate you ladies. I started out with the conscious and unconscious videos, and then the victim mentality, shifting your victim mentality was really prevalent at the time that Greta suggested that I watch it. And even talking to you ladies now, I can hear my own word usage. And I literally had such a strong desire to switch my language from watching you guys to tuning in to the ideology and the philosophies that you're putting forth. I do have a request. I'd like to know if Yvonne and Leah have been able to sort of take the ideologies and philosophy imparted by the realm of beings and put them into practice. And if you have, if going forward with the show, if you wouldn't mind sharing some of those transformational turning points with us, the viewing audience, sort of just to make the material less abstract and more concrete so we could, see you ladies using it in your everyday lives. I think that'd be awesome. And I just want to leave you with, lastly, I've been there since the inception. I tune in when I can. And if anyone's feeling like the show's not super popular yet or the numbers aren't there, I just want you to know that it's purposeful and powerful, and the numbers will continue to grow for you ladies because you are shifting the impressions of those of us that do tune in, and you are helping make the world like a much higher vibrational place. So congratulations to everyone. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you so much, Inga. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you. Gives a little more juice because, you know, like when we're out here, we're like, oh gosh, you're kind of on an island, but hearing all that is really very empowering. Thank you for that information.
Right. Now, Inga gave us the quote, which is really great. Focus on oneness and bathe in the joys of infinity. And we have a gentleman who wasn't able to literally be with us today because he had gone back to Jamaica to be with his family because of the hurricane situation. But he did send us a video that he wanted to have some presence in this podcast today. Jacob, do we have that video with him? Yeah, can you play that for us?
Happy Creation Day from me, Stephen Wise, aka Catriel, music medicine man, international recording artist. I'm sending love and respect to Gretta, Yvonne, Leigh, and the realm of beings. May we continue to manifest dreams and magic and miracles in the days and years to come. Blessings to all. One love.
Thank you, Stephen. If you have a chance to listen, some years back, I asked Stephen. I said, "Would you write some music to one of the quotes?" So the quote that Ingael gave us this morning, that is the music that he put forth. I don't know if the video is attached to this at this moment, but I want you to hear the music and to feel the vibration and the energy of this before we begin our discussion today. Jacob, we have that ready?
Focus in oneness and bathe in the joys of infinity. Focus in oneness and bathe in the joys of infinity. Oneness.
Great. I think that's the great beginning for us now to get started. I'm going to turn it back over to Leigh so she can help us. We're going to have a lively discussion on what is the meaning of this quote and how does it interact with our lives. Yeah. Go ahead, Leigh.
Yes. Thank you, Greta, and thank you, Stephen, for creating that lovely piece of music. So today, if you're a regular listener of the podcast, you know our general format. We always have this quotation, a quotation, and today, as Greta and Stephen so beautifully stated, focus on oneness and bathe in the joys of infinity. So perhaps we should start with someone we haven't heard from before. Thomas, are you available to weigh in on the quotation?
Absolutely. Welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm really delighted to be here today. And I really, really enjoy Steve's work, and I encourage everybody to follow him on YouTube and listen to some of his other stuff. It's really delightful. So the oneness is very interesting. It's helped me come to an understanding that makes a lot of peace in my life. And that is to understand that whatever we're creating, there's a reason for it. And instead of changing our emotions and becoming displaced from that, we can look at it as oneness, as part of our creation, and just have an understanding of it. And for me, this has changed my life a lot because I've become a very peaceful and mindful person. And I encourage everybody else to, when things come up in your life, to look at it as with a question. And the question would be, you know, why did I create this? Why am I hearing this? And when you look a little deeper into it, you'll see reasons and purposes of creation of that. And for me, I'm enjoying my life this way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Can
you.
we open it up so that people, anytime you want to talk, just speak? You know, we're going to move in spirit and in the
Okay.
energy of this. So just, Dr. Pat, I don't know why I'm drawn to you for you to say something.
I'm channeling Prince right now, so I just have to take a minute. Oh, wait, formerly known as Prince.
Right.
First of all, I'm always asked, why you do this, Pat? Why are you doing this? And why do you keep doing it? And like, now we hear you're growing, you're going to expand. Now you're TV, blah, 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 right? Why? I know what my personal why is. I know what my why is. That comes from spirit. That comes from the divine. But my why doesn't happen without a what, who, how, and when. See, that's what street smart spirituality is, right? I spent a large part of my life, staring at water. And it was still water. When I was done staring, it was like, oh, water then, water now. But here we are because we were never meant to play, not to lose. None of us in humanity. We were not meant to play, not to lose. We were played to win. We were given every aspect of who we are as human beings that separates us from a frog. Well, sometimes I don't know that that's true. It depends on who you're looking at. But in the realm of things, we have limitless capability. And yet, we're still young in our evolution, in our consciousness, in our knowing. We're still very young in learning the depth and the breadth of what we could do through kindness and altruism and so much more. But look, here's the thing for me. You know how you all got on here, the network? You know how, like, we don't even know actually how that happened because we don't ask it anymore. I dialed the wrong phone number 20 years ago. I transpose numbers. I'm learning different. I've had doctors tell me that that I'm on the spectrum. All right. I stuttered growing up. I'm stuttering now a little bit. You can hear it because these labels are a way for people to put us in a box and hold us back. Now, I will tell you this, that none of anything I just said to you has held me back. And so we're here today to celebrate you because there was nothing holding you back. Not a single thing that I can remember was holding you back. And you're like me. The minute I got behind a mic in 2003, everything inside me felt right. Now, I didn't sit here and say, oh, I'm one with my pathway, because I don't think even to this day, I realize it. This is the long and winding road, and I don't know how many people we've talked to and that about that have said, I'm on my path, I'm on my purpose. But I'll tell you, everybody I know is you're on your path, you're on the purpose. You have a pair of boxing gloves because you needed to have those boxing gloves to get past some of the potholes you've stepped in and the obstacles, right? I was given boxing gloves at age 5 by my uncle, Dickie, Bobby, Billy, Johnny, my uncles were in the boxing, let's just call it profession. But here we are today because we're called to share a message. That's why you all said yes. That's why you were all open. And I've talked about this before. Meeting you all for the first time. And now I look at the three of you now, and I look at that Leigh, open it up to, and I'm like, wow, in just a year. So you are transformation in action. You are, and what you represent is what you talk about. Now, here's the last thing I'm going to say, because I know that I think the realm talks to me too, but I don't think they say I'm the realm. I have had more, they don't say, hi, I'm the realm, let me in. But I'll tell you what I mean. And then I'm going to kick it back to you. I have had more coincidences, for lack of a better word, I call them miracles, show up in my life from a very, very young age, very young age. Every dot that was connected with me, even in being homeless, even when I was arrested for something really odd that I didn't mean to do, even when my mom committed suicide when I was 6, even when I was beaten Catholic boarding school, I have had miracles that pulled me up, showed me the next dot. And then what is our job though? Here's what our job is. See, this is the difference between my form of spirituality, as people tell me, and others. When you get something, an insight, yeah, you can keep it to yourself, but you're getting the insight so you could take it to the world. And I want to congratulate you all. And not just on all the episodes you've done, but on the new season you're getting ready to do, because you cannot not do this. None of us can. So when people ask me why, my answer is, hey, why not? What am I going to do? You know, this is what I love to do, and this is what we're going to support to do. But when spirit taps you, you better pay attention, because the next time it's not going to be a tap. You're going to get a little black and blue. And then if you don't pay attention to the black and blue, you're going to get hit by a 2x4. And if then you're not paying attention to that, you're going to end up in a spiritual coma. Now, for me, I do it because of you. To watch what you all have done in a short period of time, and I got to tell you, this is a short period of time. I'm honored to be on this show, and I'm honored that you've joined us. I want to tell everybody out there, when you get your hit, whether it be from the realm or it doesn't matter where you get it from, it's calling you to do something. So let's do something together, right? Right, everybody? Let's do it together.
Absolutely, absolutely. Kathy, I feel your brain buzzing.
Oh, my brain has been buzzing, especially with the mention of 2x4s. But in any event, I'm right here live and in living color, because as a transformational specialist, I will say I agree with, I'm just going to piggyback off of Tom and all of those that are going to speak after me. But I'm still learning to accept the whole totality of what oneness means, and how much the show has impacted actually the work that I do with Gretta and the rest of the transformational specialists. There isn't an answer that I don't find when I go back and look at one of the shows. We refer people to the shows, but it's just sometimes for me personally, it is a continuous journey, and I have to constantly remind myself that I'm moving into oneness, that I am the force itself. And I'm still wrapping my brain around what that really truly means to me inside. But I do know that I am not the same person that I was before. And I used to question, I'm going to be very quick because there's a lot to be done. Other people have to speak. But that 2x4 that Dr. Pat spoke about, I remember with Deborah and all of them, we were talking about how anger creates accidents. And I had the audacity to say, how the heck does anger create accidents? And sure enough, I got angry. My brand new Subaru and I'm backing out of the garage. Don't you know I had an accident? And I had to laugh after I got mad. I said, well, you wanted to know if anger causes accidents and whether or not you created it, darn if it didn't. So, I love the show, and I'm just gonna back off right now.
Thank you, Kathleen, for sharing that. John, are you still involved? Are you still here?
Yes, I am.
Hello.
Hi.
Would you like to share something with us?
Yes. First of all, congratulations, Leigh, Yvonne, and of course, Gretta, on 1 year of your podcast. Creating a community of people and an eye into infinity is a beautiful thing. May it go on many more years. Just reflecting on a quote, focus on oneness and bathe in the joys of infinity. I mean, it's embodied in everything you folks discuss and in all my conversations with Greta, and just thinking of the entire physical universe and all the beings in it, to just see them as beautiful and an opportunity to enjoy the beauty as opposed to, rather than like overwhelming, is just a great and wonderful thing. I appreciate the perspective you folks provide through Realm of Beings to continue down that path or on that path. Again, thank you for your podcast, and I do appreciate the opportunity to participate with this beautiful group of beings. Thank you.
Thank you, John, for sharing. Listeners, thank you for staying with us. We're just going to head into our first break, and when we come back, we will continue this conversation, and we will also hear something from the realm, of course. Thank you for listening. This is Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings and Friends. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings and Friends episode. We will pick up our discussion about the quotation, focus on oneness and bathe in the joys of infinity. Carlos, Deb, Lori, whomever would like to speak, can feel free.
Since you called my name first, I'll go. Definitely Carlos Williams, a transformational specialist. I thought I put that on Do Not Disturb, but you know how that goes. When I think about the quotation focus, the word focus jumps out at me. Focus on the oneness, and I think about our work with our co-participants. That's what we call the people that we work with. Because I was talking about with my co-participant this morning, is that when you're working with someone, you're supporting them in their creation of reality. We're not doing the work; they're doing the work. We're just guiding them along. And that focus on that oneness that we share as the force is something that comes about through this process. It unfolds as we go through what our co-participant is working on. And so we're learning more about ourselves as we're supporting them in their process. And it's really an amazing thing in this quotation and in the process. So that focus on the oneness then flips over to the end of the statement for me, and the joy of infinity. I mean, infinity itself is so much to it, and there's so much to be enjoyed that in our society, a lot of times we focus on the things that are wrong. There's so many things that we have to do, right? But when we focus on the things that we get to do, like support people in their creation of reality, like being in our beingness, then we can really get into the joy of all of the things that we experience. Every experience that we have is an opportunity for us to grow. Every experience that we have is an opportunity for us to enjoy our success of creating the thing that we created. So that quotation really has a lot packed into it, just like this show. And it's really become a tool for me in my own personal growth, as well as sharing it with my co-participants and giving them, like Kathy said, an opportunity to take one show and then really telescope out and look at how this particular aspect of joy, of oneness, or all the different aspects that have been covered over this past year have come about. And I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Carlos, for sharing your experience with us. Lori, Deb.
Sure, Leigh. I just want to say I'm very blessed to know the beautiful people surrounding me and to have opportunities to heal with them. And for me, this quote is quite powerful because my tendency is to live small, to resist change, to be affected by fear. And for me, living in oneness is about the expansion. I come back to Gretta's, amoeba. I can get very constricted in my own sort of cutoff experience and how I see things, how I envision things. And for me, oneness is operating in the expansion of our collective wisdom, our collective love. So if I'm trying to troubleshoot solutions in my life or work with my relationships, and I'm only coming from my ego mind and where I get stuck, I'm very limited. When I open up to that oneness, I have the benefit just right now of all the beauty of these 10 people around me and tapping into what I love most and how I'm inspired by their thinking. So that is literally for me, the joy of expansion. And when I can do that, I also recognize that the people in my life where I come up against woundedness or I feel sensitivities, when I remember the oneness, I know that these people in my relationships are my teachers and they're supporting my growth and my evolution. And again, my expansion. And the last thing I just want to say, Gretta speaks a lot about loving and being in love, which has been critical for me. And I have a vanity sink that's very aesthetically pretty, but the corner of it, I've always had all these papers and they're nonsense receipts that were gathering dust. And one morning I cleared them and I looked at the vanity top and it was very simple, but I realized I cleared room for the beauty. And for me, that's a practical example of a tiny expansion of what it looks like when you build self-love. And I'm very grateful to the people around me. And what I'll close on is my experience of the joy of oneness is a quote that I keep coming back to, which is, I am a part of all that I have met. And that's what that means for me. And I'm very blessed, honored, and privileged to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori, for joining us. Thank you for sharing that with us today. Deb, are you available?
Yes, yes. In my role with the transformational, as a transformational specialist is intuitive liaison, I actually get to experience the oneness of the participants. And when I do that, it does fill me with joy. It fills me with also more self-love for everyone and myself, because that's where the base is when that's where we start. And having the podcast to reinforce all that has given me a peace that I can now grasp. Before it was a little obscure and not tangible. It has become very tangible for me. And I know, and I didn't want to do any of this work, and Gretta will tell you, I'm not a transformational specialist. I'll just sit in. I need to sit in because I need to understand, to write my essential questions. And so I'm grateful that she gently nudged me into it slowly. on my own time to embrace the oneness of even that particular part of beingness. And I've come to realize through it that when we all embrace the concept first of self-love, it'll lead us to we are one, and we create and support each other in intimate ways that we're not even aware of. And then we experience it, not only the joy we have, we experience others' joy, which is tenfold, much more wonderful than my own joy experiences, because it helps my own joy expand and internalize in me. And I'm grateful for having been and being a part of this, because it has changed my life. And, you know, at the age I am, I'm grateful for the next 30 years of being able to live my life the way I really was chasing for, you know, the past 70.
I like that, Debbie. The next 30, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. But, you know, oneness, you know, I'm seeing myself, and I'm enjoying experiencing oneness and knowing that I'm, you know, the force itself, and recognizing I'm a divine being. And I've just been enjoying the journey as a transformational specialist for all the reasons everyone spoke about.
Well, thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, Deb. I want to just pop in here for a minute before we get to the realm and maybe answer Engel's question a little bit for myself. I am thrilled to be here sharing all of this with you today. This is one of the joys of oneness and being with you. I create to be solitary often. So when I can come together as a group like this, it just really reminds me how connected we are. And Kathleen, you had mentioned some, you know, you had shared with us a little bit about kind of needing to remind yourself and having constant reminders. And that is so helpful for me, because I see you as a transformation specialist, and I say, oh, she's got this, you know. And so it, you know, when I see people who, you know, of course, this is just our human language talking, but appear to be, you know, air quotes, further down the road, so to speak, or perhaps deeper within, as we, you know, could alternatively say, you know, to know that, you know, everyone has to maybe remind themselves a little, because we don't always have this oneness piece locked down. And oftentimes when I speak with Gretta, you know, this is kind of going back to Engel's question in sort of a practical way. You know, in my relationships, I will be so surprised that something worked out in my favor. And Gretta will remind me, well, Leigh, that's you're loving yourself. So, and I say, oh, right. Okay, good job. Good job. And Yvonne or Gretta, if you have something brief to say so we can hear from the realm of beings, please.
Yeah, I would just briefly, once again, I'm going to connect it back to the first person that spoke, Engel, and Engel was looking for a concrete versus abstract examples of how this shows up in our lives. And I'm just coming off the waves of a really beautiful retreat with where I was able to swim with wild dolphins. When we say the podcast, it was like the pod mind of these beautiful creatures who are guardians of wisdom and consciousness. And I feel like that's what we are creating. We as humans may have forgotten things that connect us and bring us together as one, but it's all there. All we have to do is remember it, put it back together again, and live it. So thank you all. Transformation Talk Radio, Dr. Pat, all of our producers, Greta, Leigh, and listeners, and especially our friends and guests. We have quite a celebrate. We had and continue to have quite a celebration of creating life here. And thank you all. I'm so grateful and so blessed to be part of this creation.
Thank you, Yvonne. Let's shift now to the realm of beings. Realm, are you with us?
Yes.
Thank you. Can you share something about our creation day today and focus, and your quotation, focus on oneness and bathe in the joys of infinity?
Oneness is so expansive that we as humans, you see, I notice we said we as humans, because we realize that even though our Constitution has no body, we are only pure thought. But we must use your pronoun we, because we see ourselves and know ourselves to be one with you. There is no separation at all. But it's so vast, it's challenging to some to even begin to think that I am one with a leaf on a tree, or I am one with that person who sits in prison because of something society said was not right. That I am one with someone who does not look like me, you see. It is oneness. To get to oneness, you must be in unconditional love first of yourself. Honor your divinity of yourself. See how beautiful each one of you truly is. Seek past that personality of someone that you say is, oh, that's a terrible person. I don't want to be with that person. Forget that. Look past the personality. Look past the religious background of the person. Look past the racial perspective of the person. Look past the sexual preferences of the person. Look past the decision to be a billionaire or a decision to be homeless. Look past all of that. When you begin to look past all of that, and you begin to love yourselves and recognize your divinity inside yourselves, then you are moving to oneness. Because there are many beings around you that you are not even aware of that exist in this extensive reality that you are in at this moment. Place yourselves in states of joy. When you place yourself in states of joy, you are embracing the oneness. You are embracing the oneness. So our last word today is, we thank all of you, the listeners, all of you who have brought about this podcast, some of whom you are not visible on this screen, but we thank you. We thank Dr. Pat, who marched forward with the idea of bringing love unconditionally to this planet. So be in love with self and recognize the divinity of others. We thank you. We are leaving now.
Thank you, Realm, as always, for sharing your wisdom with us today. We have a few minutes left of the podcast. Would anyone like to share a few closing words?
Leigh, I'd like to say something.
Sure.
One of the things which has really been profound for me was one of the first statements I heard Gretta say to me, and right at the get-go, if you go back to my notebook from day one, she told me, focus on what you want, not what you don't want. And we tend to forget that. And today I just want to remind us that, you know, being in the joy is something that we have to focus on. And I just want to remind everybody to keep your focus there.
Thomas, thank you for that reminder, because I am totally in agreement with that statement. Gretta, you were quiet today. As we are coming to a close today, would you like to just say some final words?
It's challenging. I've been looking at myself on the screen, and I said, now this is the first time I've ever been on this program, and I look so dark. So I didn't know if I was trying to hide myself or if I was just trying to say, you all take it. You all take it. Because that's important, that the people in our audience recognize that it's more than just the three of us. You see,
Absolutely.
It's more than just Gretta. You know, Gretta created to bring Gretta in here, okay? But Gretta is not all of it. So I think our celebration today shows that there's so many people here, so many different walks of life.
Mm.
You know, physical therapists, you know, clinical psychologists, educators. I mean, we come from all walks of life. You see, the same as the listeners in our audience. And I want to just thank those people, you know, for being with us and supporting us. Today, before we came on, I did some energy work. And I asked, let what we are talking about today spread throughout the world.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Spread throughout the world, because it is, if you can understand that you create your own reality, you don't need to have a war.
Thank you, Greta.
Be in peace. And now,
We
Lisa,
have to wrap it up.
quiet.
Thank you, guests. Thank you, listeners, for everyone being a part of our Creation Day. This has been Shifting Impressions, conversations with the realm of beings and friends until we create each other again.
Once again, thanks for joining us at Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings on TransformationTalkRadio.com. As you have explored today's creation of reality experience with Leigh, Yvonne, the realm, and me, Greta, each of you is being supported by us in further developing the understanding that you are not just an individual existing in linear time and space, but a multidimensional force of infinite possibilities who is connected to all. So begin to create the realities you want. Join us every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Shifting Impressions at TransformationTalkRadio.com. So long until we create each other again next Friday.